is NPR.
Live from the Ken and Valerie Baker studio at WHYY, this is Studio 2.
On Thursday, December 4th, welcome, friends, on Into the Show. I'm Cherry Gregg.
And I'm Avi Wolfman-Arent.
So, Avi, we love to laugh here on Studio 2. We get at least one good one in every single day.
Yeah, let's start with a chuckle. Ha, 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 ha. There it is.
And one of the things that I really love is stand-up comedy. For decades, Philadelphia has been a place that has nurtured comics. Think about people like Kevin Hart, Tina Fey, Quinta Brunson, Bob Saget, a lot of big names got their starts right here in Philadelphia. But a lot has changed over the past few years. While stand-up is doing really well, ticket sales have tripled over the last decade or so. There is a little bit of problem, right? Some say talent development has sort of stalled. And while there are still lots of new comics, they are not coming from the clubs anymore. They're coming from TikTok, from Instagram, from social media. But a viral joke on TikTok doesn't always translate to a great stand-up performance. So today we're going to take a look at the state of comedy right here in Philadelphia and beyond. And we've got a trio of local comics, including a comedy club owner and a comedy teacher. So we're going to learn how to write a joke, hopefully, by the end of the show, and talk about the state of comedy. And our question of the day for you, our listeners, is this: who is your favorite stand-up comic? And tell us why. You can give us a call, 888-477-9499. You can email studio2@whyy.org. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, you can put your comments in the chat.
Also, if you have a great, clean,
please.
Joke
Public media, y'all.
That you could tell, please call in and just tell your best joke. That would be funny. I hope people do that. I don't know if anyone will, but it would be fun if someone took the risk. Like tell your favorite joke to a comedian and see if you can make them laugh.
Yeah.
888-477-9499. It's also Thursday, which means it's DJ of the day. We will end the show with a song picked by one of you. It has to be a song on the topic of today's show. Executive producer Kevin will pick the winner and shout you out at the end of the show. Studio2@whyy.org is where you go to email your submission.
Yeah, funny, comedy, clowning.
My inside informants tell me if you pick The Joker by Steve Miller Band, you will not win. So don't pick The Joker.
Yeah, jokes. So there's a bunch of themes in there.
Yeah, but just don't do The Joker.
Yeah.
And you might have a chance. Studio2@whyy.org is the email. First, a trio of local news stories, Cherry. The robo-taxi company Waymo says it is coming to Philadelphia. In an online announcement yesterday, Waymo, which is owned by Google, said it had begun testing cars with no human drivers on Philly streets, and that this is the precursor to having an autonomous taxi service right here in Philadelphia.
So it's happening. It's going to happen.
It seems to be happening. We don't know the details yet on timing. Waymo already runs taxis in LA, San Francisco, Phoenix, Austin, and Atlanta. You may have seen some Waymo taxis already on the streets in Philadelphia. Those were being piloted by humans, and they were doing mapping of Philly streets in preparation for this next step. And now the next step is here, which is some autonomous rides, although you cannot actually get in the car yet. The only people that can get in them are Waymo employees.
Yeah, well, I'll believe it when I see it. I saw one of those.
Really? You're skeptical?
I'm a little, well, I'm not.
It's already I just named 5 major cities it's already in.
I know, but I believe it in Philly when I see it. And I saw one of those Waymos, and let me explain why. I saw one of those Waymos a while back, and the thing was driving so slow. People were skirting around it, blowing. I even tooted my horn at the Waymo that was driving really slow. And
I think you're way off here.
And they were driving
absolutely coming.
I do believe, but I wonder, because I remember what we did to Hitchbot, and I'm just like, how are Philly streets? How are we going to operate with these things on the road? I do believe that it's going to come. I do believe I would ride in one, but Philadelphia streets are so complicated, and I just do wonder how we're going to
LA streets are complicated. San Francisco streets are complicated. I think whether you like this or not,
I do wonder.
I think it's absolutely coming. Maybe Philadelphia will be the last standout, but you look at the market share that Waymo has already gotten in some of these large cities.
It's gonna happen,
even though it's more expensive than an Uber or a Lyft. It's pretty remarkable. The other thing that's remarkable, although there have been some really sad incidents with Waymos, the overall safety data is mind-blowingly encouraging.
Yeah, they have said it's safe. But
And I also think this is just a general tipping point for the technology. Again, whether you like it or not, because more and more people now are going to be, microdosed on this technology. They're going to get some exposure to it.
just stop jaywalking, guys.
They're going to get some exposure to it, and that's going to open up people's minds to the possibility of having their own autonomous vehicle or just getting around town in autonomous vehicles more frequently. I think we're at the precipice of, I think, a major technological change. I might end up being wrong.
And if they pass
but I don't
the
think
Philly
Philly is
test-
special. Philly's not special. Every city has tough streets. Trust me. And if they can make it work in San Francisco, which is an old city with very complicated streets, there's no reason I don't think technologically it won't work in Philadelphia.
Well, if they pass the test, I will ride in one. I will ride in one. So story number 2.
Go ahead.
Use of a controversial tool by towing companies is causing lots of debate and outrage on social media. Owners of a private lot at 4th and Spring Garden Street, they hired a towing company to put barnacles on cars illegally parked in their lot. And if you've never seen one of these barnacles before, they're bright yellow, they're 20 pounds, they're plastic, and they attach to a windshield using suction cups that have about 750 pounds of force. If you try to move your car or remove the barnacle, an alarm goes off. But it can be removed in just moments by a towing company once you pay up a fee of about $150. But again, that is negotiable. Residents, that's negotiable.
So janky.
That fee is negotiable. Now, residents of Northern Liberties, they're big mad because folks have been illegally parking in this lot at 4th and Spring Garden for 5 to 10 minutes to go to a nearby drugstore, only to come outside and to see that big old yellow barnacle on their windshield, and they had to pay like $100 to get it off. And technically, though, Avi, I'll just say,
yes,
the barnacles are not illegal, but they do deter people from parking there.
But so from my understanding, though, is that the way it's supposed to work in Philadelphia is that even if there's a private lot, the lot owner can't obstruct your car in any way unless they contact the police first. And it seems like they're not contacting the police here.
No.
So,
because you got to call 911, they got to come, they got to write a ticket.
So
it takes
think
a long
there's some
time.
sort of barnacle loophole here where you can just, as the owner of the lot or the contractor of the lot, just slap this thing on people's car without contacting the police or PPA or whatever.
Yep.
Which seems like, I don't know why that would be a loophole. I don't quite understand.
They're not explicitly illegal under Philadelphia law, although a couple of years ago there were city council hearings about making it illegal, but they haven't taken that step yet. So there are companies that do these barnacles and they are making money.
I'm still just hung up on the negotiable part of the price.
Yeah.
Like we've eliminated haggling from all areas of society except for these parking barnacles for some reason.
And the things are big and they're big and yellow. And you get out there, you're like, oh my God. And you just pay because it's such a hassle. But you shouldn't have been parking there. You shouldn't have been parking there.
Barnacle, I have to say, even though it would frustrate me if I got one, Barnacle is a great name for the product.
Yeah.
Very evocative.
I know. And it has those suction cups.
Yeah.
And people say you can get it off with a credit card. I wouldn't try it because if I cracked my windshield, I'd be big mad too.
You ever eaten a barnacle?
No, I have not.
It's a delicacy in some cultures.
I did not know. I learned something new talking to you every single day, Avi.
I was watching a travel show. They were in Spain.
Have you eaten one?
No, but I want to. Anyways, here's a place you could get something to eat. The mall. The end could be near for an iconic Philadelphia mall. Franklin Mall, once known as Franklin Mills, in far northeast Philadelphia, is officially up for sale. And it's still possible the mile-long mall could remain a commercial space, but the writing on the mall wall is not very encouraging. According to the Inquirer, the mall's seen a decline in sales and visitors. In the 1990s, 20 million people visited Franklin Mills each year. These days, it's below 6 million. And even the real estate listing company says in the description of the property that it could be turned into an industrial zone or a warehouse. So even they're suggesting that the mall is unlikely to continue.
Wow. And it occurred to me that so many places that were once iconic are closing, like from malls to pizza places, longtime restaurants. But honestly, I have only been to Franklin Mills malls like one time in the 17 years I lived in Philly. And
I don't go to far northeast Philly. I'll be honest. That's like a dead zone for me.
It's like I won't go up there.
It's so far.
And I mean, I was reading the comments on social media posts about this mall closing, and everybody's like, I hadn't been there in a decade.
No,
plus.
for sure. Well, it's funny. It's still the second biggest mall in the region after King of Prussia, but King of Prussia has maintained its shine and sort of higher end stores.
And
for whatever reason,
times,
Franklin Mills has just sort of been in a free fall for a long time. When it opened, by the way, I believe it was billed as the largest outlet mall ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now
historic.
And now it's 68% vacant.
Yep. So perhaps
end of an era.
Perhaps farewell to Franklin Mills / now known as Franklin Mall. I think someone else has the copyright to Franklin Mills, which is why they have to call it Franklin Mall now. So it can't even have its own name as it seemingly goes out of business.
So sad.
But if you're sad, don't worry.
Because we going to get happy.
We're going to cheer you up with most of the show today because it's all about stand-up comedy. It's not going to be all jokes and laughter.
No,
we really want to get into
serious.
what the comedy scene is like here in Philadelphia, how to make it as a stand-up today, how online culture influences stand-up culture. And, of course, we'd love to hear from you. Tell us your favorite joke or your favorite comedian. 888-477-9499. Email studio2@WHYY.
And keep those jokes clean, please.
Someone's got a joke already in the line. I'm going to see how this is going to go. That's enough reason to stay tuned. Studio 2.
And welcome back to Studio 2 here at WHYY. I'm Cherry Gregg.
And I'm Avi Wolfman-Arendt. A decade ago, if you wanted to watch stand-up comedy, you'd probably watch Comedy Central, or you'd go to a real-life comedy club. Maybe you'd sift through YouTube. Today, comedy of all kinds has exploded on Instagram and TikTok. The barriers to entry for joke lovers and comics alike are lower than ever.
Yeah, today on the show, we want to know how stand-up comedy is adapting to the new landscape. What happens when you put a social media star in front of a live audience? Are traditional stand-ups feeling pressure to be content creators now? Are audiences getting more risk averse?
Lots of questions. Lucky for us, we've got two fantastic local comedians in the studio with us. First is Jamie Pappas, who you might know from Instagram. She does great impersonations of a New Yorker moving to Philadelphia. But because today's show is all about stand-up, let's hear a quick bite from one of her sets. Ow! Hit it.
My boyfriend plays a lot of fantasy football. I know a lot of people don't like when their partner plays fantasy. It's like, they don't get it. It's like a waste of time. They're like, it's a waste of money, blah, blah, blah. I like it. I feel like we have something in common. Like we have a hobby in common where we're both fantasizing about men who make way more money than he does.
Love it. And our second guest is Manny Brown. He's a lawyer by day and co-owner of the Next in Line Comedy Club by night. Thank you so much for making time for us, Manny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and since we subjected Jamie to listening to her own stand-up, we're going to do the same for you, just to keep it equal. I'll play the clip.
I love getting older too because my goals are smaller now. I used to have big goals. I was idealistic. As soon as I got out of college in my 20s, I'd say stuff like, yeah, I'm gonna figure out racism. Let's start with the hardest thing no one's come close to figuring out. Now I'm like, okay, my goals are smaller. My goal this year, my goal is to learn how to spell restaurant. That is, yep. That's it.
A laudable goal, by the way. We'll figure it out by the end of the episode. And listeners, we want to hear from you today. Who is your favorite comedian or your favorite joke? What makes that joke or that comedian so funny? Give us a call. 888-477-9499. You can email studio2@whyy.org, YouTube, Facebook. Hello. drop a comment in the chat.
And so we wanted to start by getting a little bit of background because, Jamie, I realized I follow you on Instagram and have been for a while. And you kind of started blowing up during the pandemic. Your videos kind of got really popular. And now you also perform on stage. What was sort of like the trajectory of your blow up? And then what was that transition like?
I'm unfortunately going to have to flip and correct. I was performing on stage first. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. See, this is the necessary evil of the social media.
Okay, so that's why I
people
learned
come up
of you.
to me on the street and they're like,
God.
I follow you on TikTok. And I was like, watch me do stand up. And they're like, you do stand up?
Wow.
Yeah.
What's stand up?
No, I'm not crying. It's fine. No, I appreciate the follow. You know, it's the necessary to get followers because then the clubs see followers and then the club's booked based on followers, but followers does not mean audience. So what started those videos that are doing reasonably well for the amount of followers I have was truly just forget the algorithm, forget the method, just true, honest anger from me. Truly was, I just kept getting an influx of influencers on my page talking about Philly negatively. Or just in a way that was so ignorant. I kept getting videos where people would go on and say, did you guys know that Philly is actually nice? Did you guys know it's like not the worst place on earth? Isn't that crazy? So one day I just came home from work and lost it, made a video, and it did well. So then I've kind of fueled that by doing other scripts of other topics I've heard. But it's done well on social media, but I'm still begging people to come see me perform.
So when did you start performing live, doing stand-up?
2019. I started in New York. I lived in New York for work, and I've always been told I was funny. But you know when someone that's maybe not the smartest person tells you you're smart, it always felt like that when people would call me funny. It was someone that opinion I didn't really care for. Yeah. So in New York, yeah. My dumbest friend kept calling me smart. No, so I ended up taking a stand-up writing course, and I really liked it. Got really into it, and have been performing since. Pause in the pandemic, started doing virtual things. Came back, and I always wanted to just grow a following from my stand-up. So I was really committed to the not doing the front-facing videos. And then I said, forget it. Whatever works, whatever gets people to see me, see my shows, see my friends perform. And that's where I'm at now.
But it seems like it was pretty close in trajectory. Like you were doing stand-up, and then boom, the pandemic hit. Yeah. And that was the outlet.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. So, and Manny, bringing you into the conversation, you own a comedy club, lawyer by day.
Yes.
Yeah, and so tell us about that mix up. By the way, I'm also a recovering attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I'm not recovering because I'm still doing it.
Yeah, you're still doing it.
I would
Yeah.
like to maybe one day recover, but so I have been an attorney for 10 years. And so I was an attorney for 4 years when I started stand-up. So I've been doing stand-up for about 6 years.
Wow.
Similar to Jamie, I started in 2019, loved it, took a class at Helium Comedy Club, absolutely loved it. I was 30 years old when I first, touched a microphone to do stand-up, and fell in love with it, just performed nonstop, going to open mics, just working on jokes. And then 9 months later the pandemic hit. I was devastated because I found this thing I really loved, and so I started doing a bunch of virtual things. And then when we were coming out of the pandemic in 2021, I started getting booked on shows, and then a local comic, Tyler Wolf, a very funny Philly comic, shout out to Tyler Wolf, he and I started running a comedy production, I guess company now, but at the time it was really just like, let's put on a monthly show. So we reached out to local Philly bars, and everyone was trying to get people to come back in their doors once the pandemic was ending and people were going back outside. And so we were like, hey, we have this idea for this comedy show. We'll do it once a month. We'll take the tickets, you take the drinks and the food, and we'll bring people into your establishment. Every single bar we asked said yes, and then we built a following that way. We were able to get some really cool headliners to come and do our shows, and then selfishly, Tyler and I were able to get some really good stage time because we were able to get a lot of good audiences to come see these people, and then we could open up for them. And then it just kind of snowballed into that, and I kept performing, and then Next in Line just eventually got its own space at 10th and Hamilton.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we've been there for 2 years, and we've had the best comics in Philly, but also really great comics from around the country. We just had Todd Glass there, who's a Philly native, but good great comic, really well-respected comic, has been on Netflix and all that stuff and is out in L.A. We've had Beth Stelling there, all sorts of people. So it's been really an amazing journey as a side hustle, I guess.
Oh, so you guys both talked about how you loved it and you took a class and you're like, this is fun. So lots of people will look at what you do and be like, that looks terrifying, awful, would never do it in my life.
Absolutely.
So when you say you love it or it was fun, it connected with you, like, Jamie, what about it connected with you? Getting up on stage and telling jokes for people is an extremely vulnerable position to be in.
All those eyeballs.
I will say after pretty much every show, someone will come up to you and say, you were so great. I could never do that.
Yeah.
And I always say, good thing no one asked you to.
Good one-liner.
Yeah, just to remind them that I chose to do that. I don't know, I think I'm ill, but I've never had a fear of public speaking. If anything, any job I've ever had, my favorite part was getting people together and making them laugh. And I didn't even realize that when I was working more corporate. Until I was looking for a new job. I was working at a startup. I was like, what am I good at? What can I make money doing? And what am I passionate about? And trying to bring those things together. And all that came to performing. Yeah. Because anytime I like doing something. So going from the class I took, we had to write and perform for a class and then get feedback about the jokes. So I love comedy through and through, like the structure of jokes, working with other people. But there is just something inherent about getting on stage, performing, and when it works, writing something, the formula to write something, to bring it on stage, to having people laugh at you is the only thing I've ever been passionate about in my life.
So how did you know you were good? Like, I just wonder, because everybody thinks they're the greatest and whatever, but I mean, what was the moment you said, you know what, I'm pretty good at this?
I shouldn't say day one, but no,
it's day one. Then it's day one.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a day one question though?
Please.
Like, how do you actually? So there might be someone listening being like, I would love to be a stand-up comedian. What do I do? You guys you took a class, but like, how do you get on stage somewhere?
Yeah.
Are there open mics?
There's
in a place like Philly, how does it work?
Yeah, absolutely no barrier to entry. You can show up anywhere and sign up at any bar. You could
become one tonight.
Yes,
Really?
you could take this microphone outside
Really?
on the street and say you're a stand-up comedian.
Sure.
Every bar, any city, any small town, someone is working their tail off to run an open mic somewhere to get people stage time.
And you just raise your hand, say, can I get a slot?
You walk in, you can sign up. There's online signups. There's a million things on Instagram you could find. Anyone can walk in. You don't have to show that you've ever written a joke. And trust me, I see a lot of people that get up and make it very clear that they've never written a joke.
And some of them are good and some of them not so good. Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, I tell people just write. If you think you're funny or have any inkling that you want to get on stage, write. Any ideas, you want to put them down, just get it together. Because I think a lot of people have heard they're funny or think they're funny and think it's just as simple as walking up and being like, 3 minutes, I could do that. And then they get on stage and it's like the worst wedding toast you've ever seen in your life.
So how do you then go? So let's imagine someone does that. They start doing some open mics, 3 minute, 5 minute, whatever. What is the next step toward turning it into something, more legitimate, more regular? Like what's the generic path toward turning it into something you get paid to do?
So I tell this to anyone who's trying to level up in their stand-up, because everyone starts in the open mics. Everyone starts doing it for free at bars, and you just try to get as funny as you can at those open mics. And then when you get a reputation that, oh, that person's funny, then someone will eventually say, hey, I run a showcase at this place. And a showcase is just basically a local comedy show. And it's usually also at a bar. But this time people are coming to see an actual show.
Got it.
So you get a real audience and you probably get paid some money. Not a lot. But
what's not a lot in this case?
2 drink tickets.
2 drink tickets.
Oh, it's like you're getting...
Really?
Well, no, I mean, yes, that could be. Yes, sometimes.
Okay.
But also, I would say, like, you get like $20. I still have my first $5 that I made from stand-up.
Mine was a 10.
Yours a 10? Yeah.
I have it framed.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so excited that I was able to make money off of my ideas and my jokes, and I was like, I'm a professional comedian.
Yeah.
And it was. You really are. It's
so
really
it starts
pretty cool.
that small,
but it does
though.
start that small.
Wow.
So I tell people all the time, get that reputation. Be funny.
And before we have a couple callers that we want to bring in in just a moment, but I wanted to ask you, Manny, you're booking people too. So where do you look? Do you go to the comedy schools? Are you online? Like, where do you go to find funny people? Or they just show up?
So we've built next Next in Line has gotten to the point where we've built a reputation where if you're a good comedian, but you're not necessarily famous, but you're coming through Philadelphia, you're probably going to you're going to reach out to us and say, hey, I've heard good things about you. I'm trying to get on to Next in Line. We also have a monthly booking form that we probably get anywhere from 150 to 200 comics a month who apply to perform on our stage.
So what do they send you?
A video.
Okay.
They send us a video. If we haven't seen you perform, we say, if we haven't seen you perform in the last like 6 months or we don't know who you are, please send us a video so that we can take a look at that. There's a lot of comics in the Philly scene that we just like. I know Jamie. Jamie doesn't have to send me a video like, oh,
You're like, you're good.
Yeah. And she still sends it just in case.
Just to show them how good I am.
Yeah. Since she's been good since day one, apparently.
Day one on stage.
Yeah, day one over here. But.
The immaculate comedian that just came out.
It's like, I just knew how to do it.
Wait, so let me bring in some callers. We do have some people waiting, and some people want to try some jokes. Okay, so let's bring in Cynthia from Newark, Delaware, who's on line 3. Cynthia, tell us your favorite joke.
So I'm a local church pastor, so my favorite joke is, why did Jesus go to the Japanese restaurant?
Why?
Because he loves me so.
All right.
Okay, there
you,
we go.
Cynthia from Newark.
Here we go.
Thank you very much.
Cynthia must be crushing on Sundays.
Absolutely.
Look, it takes courage to call in and share your joke.
Well, here's one from Ruth, Chester County, who says, favorite joke, what goes ha-ha thump? A person laughing their head off. There you go, from Ruth in Chester County. So keep the jokes coming and keep the calls and comments coming. So I want to talk about this tension, I guess, that I've sensed from reading about this topic between online comedy and stand-up comedy. What works in both forums, what doesn't translate, and also like kind of how people with huge online followings are trying to transition into stand-up, and it doesn't seem like it always goes that great. Jamie, I want your thoughts just generally on that topic and that tension.
Yeah, I think there's only so much you can do when you're a creator online to continue it and have an audience. So I think people could do meet and greets, they could do different things, but I know a lot of management is having them get into stand-up so they can quickly go on a tour, sell 300 or less tickets, because that's what most clubs are in the cities. I think it's a very different thing than stand-up comedy. There are some creators that are trying stand-up, but a lot of it's storytelling. So I think people that you can see it completely different. Because there are some creators we know that did start in the clubs, but we just know them from their influencing or whatever we're seeing online. You can totally see, if you go watch a show, a comedian that's been performing the clubs and then blew up on social versus someone that blew up on social.
And what's the difference?
Jokes.
Yeah. The
writing, totally. You'll see someone, because the algorithm and formula for social media is quick hits, relatability, and personal, like showing themselves off. Like the reason my videos work is because they're quick, something like a mutual disturbance in something we all agree on, and people are like, I relate to that, and that voice reminds me of something. But if that's all I did and I didn't do jokes and people came, what am I going to complain on the stage for an hour? Those people like me because my stories are 45 seconds. They're sitting on their couch, scroll. It's
totally different.
What's worked? So to translate that to a stand-up show, totally different format.
But to get into like the monetary incentives here. So what I heard.
How much money how do you make money? Yeah.
What I heard Jamie saying is that basically the club operators, they like booking people with large online followings, even if they have no stand-up experience, because they can sell some tickets. The managers of the online people like telling their online personalities to do stand-up because they can monetize their online following pretty quickly. And that sort of quality seems to drop to the bottom here, or maybe somewhat irrelevant. I mean, am I overstating it, Manny? Is that the problem? Give me a sense of how far off I am here.
I think it depends, but I think generally speaking, when someone gets famous on TikTok because they're making sketches or short videos, when they now are at a club that they can sell out because they have a following and there's 300 people, I think they quickly realize that being on stage, performing on stage, is very different than developing a following, doing short, quick sketches or videos on TikTok. And so a lot of times what you'll see is, I've experienced this myself where I don't have a following on social media. I'm not a draw by any means, but a lot of times the clubs in Philly or at Next in Line will have, well, not Next in Line, sorry, we don't do that, but like other clubs in Philly will have people who are just draws. They just have 2 million followers, but they don't do stand-up. So they'll be the headliner. But then the people that open for them, like people like us, you know, people are like, oh my gosh, you were so funny, you know, like,
and you'll sort of get a new fan
by comparison. You look even better.
Yeah.
But are these, and I ask you this as someone who books folks,
Yeah.
when are these online people who started online versus someone like Jamie who started in the clubs?
Yeah.
Are they actually good, and what sort of helps them be better?
So the great thing about this is they have an opportunity here. So, and this is not to denigrate the people who get the following. That takes skill. I haven't figured it out. And getting 2 million people to follow you because of things you say online, like hats off to you. And they're also making a lot of money. So that's good for them. But if they, and some of them are like, you know what, I think I want to get good at this stand-up thing. Well, now their open mics aren't 3 people at a bar. Their open mics are now 300 people at a club.
So you could bomb in front of 300 people.
You can bomb in front of 300 people, and they like you enough because they like your personality where you can still survive.
And get paid.
And so
but will
now
those people come back?
And also, I don't know, but I will say this: it's if they're performing in front of 300 people, at least they get a good audience because learning how to do stand up in front of good audiences is the key. And so getting in front of an actual audience instead of like, you know, strangers at a bar who aren't paying attention to you at an open mic, it's like you actually get better feedback from a 300 person club than you do at open mic. So they can actually, I think, accelerate faster.
And let's bring a couple callers maybe back to back. They have their favorite comedians. Bob from North Philly is on the line. Bob, you're on Studio 2. Who's your favorite comedian?
Oh, hi. My favorite Philadelphia comedian is a guy named Jem Seidel, who's a drummer, and he kind of had a viral joke about his legal name a little bit ago. And then my favorite joke is like a joke that's going to be, and that's, forgive me, it's kind of like a performance artist joke, and it's when the first Waymo comes to an intersection in our neighborhood that is Montgomery, 5th, Germantown. It's a 5-way intersection, and the first time a Waymo enters that intersection, it will be a joke, a really funny joke.
All right.
Okay, there you go.
Bob from
Topical
North Philly.
stuff from Bob in North Philly. So one thing I'm curious about is what it's like to be a comedian here in Philly, which has sort of a second city reputation. Not to stomp on Chicago's territory there, but and you know, being so close to New York, which is considered a mecca of comedy, and how like the scenes differ, and today with technology, whether it's easier or harder to be a comedian in a place like Philly. We actually have a caller who is a Philly comedian who's since moved to New York. I think this is the real Chuck Nice on line 2.
Oh, wow.
Chuck, you're on Studio 2. What's your experience?
This is the real Chuck Nice.
Hey, Chuck.
Wow.
How you guys doing?
We're doing good, Chuck. So you wanted to talk about the difference between New York and Philly?
Well, before I say anything, let me just say, although I live here in New York, I listen to you guys every single day. And by the way, Ari, you laughed at that miso joke. I want you in every single show.
Yeah, I got you. I can do it, Chuck. I can do it. I actually wanted to ask a question. Can I ask you a question, Chuck? Can I ask you a question, Chuck? Is having a loud laugher at a show, like a distinctively loud laugher, a good or a bad thing?
It depends on if they're trying to get attention for themselves or not. If they're trying to get attention for themselves, it's a bad thing because what they're doing is they're using the laughter, which is what you're supposed to do at a show, as their means of garnering attention for themselves, which is confusing to you because, like, how do you tell somebody to shut the F up, stop laughing, and you're at a comedy show?
I hear that.
So,
It'd be fun if somebody tried it, though.
And so, Chuck, we'd love to hear your experience. You want to quickly share the difference between Philly to the New York scene?
Yeah, so the real difference is here in New York City, there's a lot more comedians, and I can get on stage. I can do 5 shows on a Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is 200 minutes of comedy that I'm able to do in 2 nights. I can be on stage for 200 minutes. You can't do that anywhere else in the world, and that's why New York is the mecca of comedy. And that's the real difference. Stage time really determines everything.
Yeah, because that's practice. That's like, you know, times at bat, and you just get better and better.
And I didn't expect that. That was Chuck Nice on Studio 2. I appreciate
that is
the time.
amazing. And he listens to the show. Yay.
But I wonder if there's been a flattening, though, or a way to sort of even the playing field because of the online stuff that you can do. So like you can be in Philly, you can work clubs. Obviously, there aren't as many clubs as there are in New York, but you can still post online, and maybe there's some way there that you can even the playing field. You moved from New York to Philly, Jamie. I'm just curious, what's it like trying to make it in Philly versus other cities?
Originally from the area, I want to say that.
Yes.
I think the difference is, like Chuck was saying, there you can get a ton of reps, but because of that, a ton more people have moved to New York. Yeah. So everyone is fighting for those amount of spots. Since the time that I started, when I left New York, every New York comedian I knew was like, when are you going to move back? When are you going to move back? And I would always say, I'm only moving back to New York when I've been passed at 5 clubs and I'm making $5 million a year. That was I want to live comfortably. I can live so much more comfortably in Philly and make my own stage time where I can. So I think the difference is now New York comedians are asking about living here for the factor of the economy, but also you can create your own stage time anywhere here. Like you did, I run a show.
Yeah, that's more opportunities for you to actually make a living doing what you love.
A living,
that's
stretch. That's not.
But like to make to have a fulfilling creative outlet.
That's so beautiful.
but no, I think and quality of stage time matters as well. So that's Jamie and I. We both run our own shows, and we're able to perform on those shows, and it's quality stage time. It's not just at a bar in front of 3 people, strangers, right? Yeah. So they aren't paying attention to you.
It's people are expecting.
People are paying to see us perform comedy, which is for some reason psychologically, someone paying to see a show and a free show, it's very different because it's like it's free, whatever. But when someone pays, they're invested, and so they're paying attention. They're more into the show. So
I learned so much in this segment.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank you both, Manny Brown, Philly-based comedian, co-founder of Next in Line Comedy. Thank you so much, Manny, for your time today on Studio 2, and Jamie Pappas, Philly-based comedian. Thank you so much for your time today on Studio 2. Follow them both on social media. I should have your handles here.
Come to our shows.
And come to
Next in Line. Nice. I also teach a comedy class at Next in Line Comedy. Also, shout out to Betty Smithsonian.
I love it. After the break,
you host something at a typewriter.
Yes, at Philly Typewriter on East Passyunk every Friday night. BYOB comedy at a typewriter shop. Type a little, hear a joke.
Welcome back to Studio 2. I'm Cherry Gregg.
And I'm Avi Wolfman-Arent. Today we're talking about stand-up comedy. Before the break, we talked to 2 rising Philly comics about how they're navigating a changing genre.
And now we're going back to the basics. What makes something funny? Here to teach us is a veteran Philly stand-up comic, Ray. And I believe we're going to introduce you with a clip of your stand-up. Al, play the clip.
You found a clean one?
You got more than one kid, you got to prepare yourself for the inevitability. All your kids ain't going to be amazing. Right. Somebody going to come up short. You're going to have to go to a Walmart certification and a doctorate award program in the same lifetime. And as a parent, you got to be proud both times. Like, my baby a doctor, but let me get on aisle 3 because my baby about to turn his light on. That's for you as a parent.
Love
there
it.
he is. Welcome, Toure.
Thank you for having me, guys. Appreciate being here.
Yes.
We would love to hear from you this hour. Have you ever wanted to get behind the mic? Call in with your best joke. Get live feedback from a pro, and you do have to keep it clean. Toure was joking in the intro that he was surprised we found a clean clip of his. But our producers are the best. Our producers are
Listen, man, shout out to the control room, man. They were in there. I just got a chance to sit with them. I just want to give them kudos, man. It was wonderful to watch you guys work. It was definitely beautiful. So, yeah, I know they're great at what they do. So, I can work clean, but, sometimes you can upload whatever. And so a lot of the clips that have gotten a lot of views aren't necessarily the cleanest.
The cleanest ones.
That
makes sense.
It's all good.
888-477-9499 is the number to call. The email is studio2@whyy.org.
And full disclosure, I've been a fan of yours for a long time, Toure.
Yeah, I was telling your producer,
yes.
I said we met years ago. You came to Warm Daddies. I used to do the show at Warm Daddies. And then I later found that Uncle G was your mentor in journalism.
Yes.
That's my uncle. So
there you go.
Small world type
world.
thing. Yeah.
But you have seen comedy. You came up in the clubs where that is how you were mentored.
Yes.
It wasn't a lot of online. And so I want you to sort of give your perspective about the way talent was sort of molded in the Philly comedy scene when you were coming up versus the way it's molded now with such an online being part of the presence.
Yeah. You just got to say out front that online is another stage, so to speak, another means, right? So when we were coming up, it was you had to have 5 to 7. That was how you moved through. Like you had to have at least 5 to 7 minutes of material for you to go from host to feature to headliner, audition, whatever. You would get 5 to 7 minutes. So you had to have 5 to 7 to be working. And most clubs, you would probably try to get in at an open mic night, work on that 5 to 7, work till you were bookable, had your 5 to 7 minutes and was able to work the clubs, and then you would move along from, opener to feature. Feature was 20 minutes, and then headliner was 40 minutes. And, headliner was the aspiration to get to. Now you really don't need any of those things to get booked. Really, like you don't need 5 to 7 minutes. You just need followers. You just need to be able to sell tickets.
5 to 7 million, not 5 to 7 minutes.
5 to 7, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great thing. Like for real, you need 5 to 7 million followers to be equitable out here in comedy, and it's not because of the artist; it's because of the industry. The industry has gone, well, we're not trying to figure out who it is anymore. We're just going to go whoever has the followers, has the eyes, has the buys. That's who we're putting it with.
But you have a reputation for being someone who could identify and nurture talent here in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And I don't people who are not in the comedy scene might not know, but you're kind of seen as like a godfather of Philly comedy in some ways. So I'm curious, do you think the art of talent identification has been lost a little bit, or it's just a different format of it?
No, right. That's why I said it's just a different format. Like you'll see guys that are girls that are content creators that want to make the switch, and it's not because they want to, it's because the opportunities are coming more for them to be on stage and do something with it. They may be incentivized by the money. Maybe they not. Like sometimes, it's hard to tell a comedian that's getting checked for Meta for $50,000 a week or a month to get on stage and work on your 5. Like, for what? I'm getting it. So you have both, but most of the time, that comedian that's getting those opportunities will try to become a better comedian or content creator. Now, what the problem relies on my era is the resistance against it. And it's like some of my peers are so resistant. I'm like, yo, you can keep fighting against it if you don't want to work. Like, if you want to eat, that's the way it is now. Like, that's the way you have to go. Like, the way I explain it best is it's a billboard. You can put something on your billboard or not.
Yeah. Is there, and I say this because I'm a huge Josh Johnson fan. And
I was telling them
yeah,
about Josh.
and he has sort of, if people don't know who he is, he's this comedian. He started out as a writer, Daily Show, you know, doing like the more traditional way of getting into the business. But his YouTube following is in the millions.
Yes.
He puts out videos every single day. I mean, or not every day, but multiple times a week. I don't know how he does it, what the operation looks like, but do comedians now feel like this pressure to produce content and to become content creators if they want to be as visible as some of these other folks sort of coming up?
Yeah, I would say they do. Or if they don't feel pressure, they feel something and don't know what that is. So maybe
they haven't identified the word.
Right, it comes out as jealousy and, you know, that ain't real comedy. And it's like, you know, I was telling the controller, I said, you know, Josh, and I don't want people to take this as me taking a shot. It's a comparison and using names that you would recognize.
Yeah.
Josh is Matt Rife. If Matt wasn't just crowd work, like Josh has material, so it's like he has that fevered following from social media, but then he has the material to consistently put out.
Yeah,
Matt has that fevered following, but a lot of his following came from crowd work videos.
I have a question about crowd work.
Josh has come from him doing stand up, and that's
the two totally different.
He can keep doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can keep putting that out. Like you said, he puts out videos all the time. He did that on purpose. Like last summer, I remember him saying, next 30 days, I'm going to just put out a new video every day. Yeah. New content, new material every day. Right,
So crowd work, and my understanding of crowd work is that when like the comedian starts interacting with someone or some people in the crowd, it's sort of improvised.
Yes.
And that particular type of clip seems to do very well online.
That's what's happening. That's another thing that's happening.
So that's a case where the virality of content online might be influencing the art form itself.
It is.
And making comedians lean heavier into crowd work.
It is.
So is that what's going on? Yeah. Now comedians are more likely to engage with the crowd.
I mean, and you know, everybody's trying to figure it out. Like, and I was thinking about it when you guys invited me on. I was thinking about this morning. Like, comedy, honestly, right now, comedy is the entertainment gold rush. Like, it's the quickest way to get famous and rich in entertainment by doing something, content creation, humor, or comedy, straight up stand up, whatever. It's the quickest way in. Like, musicians ain't making no money no more. It ain't like that no more. For comedians, you can go from broke to millionaire overnight. Like, all it takes is a video or content, and then to feed that following. So what's happening with crowd work is, yes, there are comedians that you're going to see their set, and it's a lot of crowd work, but the reality is crowd work is a tool. Well, when we came up as a tool, like, everybody can do crowd work. Like, it's like, hey, man, where you working? But that shouldn't be your whole set. Like, it should be like, I have material, and if I need to veer off and go into that. And then another thing that's happening is the audience is now feeling like it's interaction time.
Yeah.
And it ain't always interaction.
So more hecklers, maybe.
Right.
More hecklers?
Right. Definitely more. Not so much.
Because they've been primed by the expectations of what they see
that existed
online.
before crowd work was the thing. You had the people, I thought I was helping you out. How you helping me out? Now they really think, because it's like, I thought that was part of the show. So it's like,
that's what they think comedy is.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's not necessarily what it is. Yeah. And so you also are a comedy teacher.
Yes. Philadelphia Comedy College.
You're a professor of comedy. And so we want you to sort of like walk us through. Like we get a giggle every so often.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Avi and I know how to.
So often.
We could scrape a giggle from the bottom of the bowl. So like, you know, I'm just trying to say, if we were trying to structure, like, if you wanted to give us some basics on, you know, what it sort of takes to be funny, and maybe like help us craft one joke, even if it's whack.
Yeah.
You know, full disclaimer, this is not the quality of your teaching. This could be the quality of our jokes.
This is WHYY's problem. This is not mine.
So sort of walk us through what it takes to sort of be funny.
The first thing is, we teach at Philadelphia Comedy College, start from within, right? So start with a truth of yourself, right? Something you either love or hate about yourself, or about your day, or about your existence. So that's the easiest thing. I know for you, your hubby just celebrated a birthday.
He did.
Was that smooth? Were you able to get the right gift? Did he ask for something that you think is unreasonable? Because see, here's what goes on with my wife. My wife wants to get me what she thinks I should have.
Yeah.
I like to get whatever it is on my birthday. I feel as though I should get what I want, and it's not big. I'm not crazy. I don't wild out. It'd be a slice of cake and a soda like that. It'd be like that, simple. But if it's not what my wife thinks I should be asking for, then it's not a proper gift. Do you have that problem with your husband?
Sometimes, and
oh wow, he got there already.
And here we go. So there's the root, right? And that's what you got to do. You got to take things that are common, known, and emotional to you one way or the other. Meaning you love it or hate it. And then what is that? And then because most of the times that's a you thing. It's very unique to that person. So when the comedy comes, the humor comes in us trying to convey it to the people. Like my wife, I have a joke where I wrote, it's a new joke and it's written from truth. My wife has become one of those, babe, I put a load in type women when it comes to the laundry. Well, anybody know when you're doing the laundry, putting the load in ain't nothing. You put it in, you push a button, you walk away. I was like, now I'm not getting them out. Now, lately, we both been walking around smelling like mildew, but that's not the point.
All right, so real quick, as we wrap up, so that's the basics of a joke construction. You talked about a 5 to 7.
Yes.
Is there a general pattern for a 5 to 7 that you think works, or you can give people a structure?
If I'm watching your 5 to 7, I should know about your humor and your style, what type of comedian you are, and why I'm laughing at you. As a booker or someone who's looking to put you on stage, that's what I should be able to tell by your 5 to 7. Sure, should it be funny? Yes, but it should also be individual to you. It should
your brand should pop in that 5 to 7.
And so everybody sort of has an area that they're really funny.
Yes. And nobody's the same. Like there are comedians that are physical, there are comedians that are vulgar, there are comedians that are super clean, but nobody's the same, nor do we expect them to be. But you should be who you are as the comedian, and that should come through. And
so what do you look at and say, you know what, because you have a lot of students coming through,
mm-hmm.
How can you tell if somebody's funny? What
how do you know if they have it?
Yeah, you like, boom, they're
it
going
comes
far.
Consistently. Like after a while, like everybody's funny one night. Everybody kills it one night. I'm telling you, everybody rips the karaoke down. Everybody gets a good speech at the wedding. There's one night everybody blazes the stage or the back of the bus, whatever it is. And then can you do it again and again and again? And then when you can see that person doing it again and again, even if they're not the most hilarious, you can just see them being consistent with it. That's what shines through. And after a while, the hard work will get them to the point where they become a better comedian. So.
Yeah, and the hard work, what does that look like? Because you got to refine these jokes.
And you got to take them on stage. You got to take them on stage. You got to work your set. Like, it was so funny. I watched the Club Shay Shay video, and everybody was caught up on a sensationalism what Cat Williams said, but he missed a gem right in the middle. And he said, these comedians don't take he said, I take my set around, I work it out different places over and over again. I know it's funny. Yeah. By the time y'all see it at this arena, I know it's funny. So that's what's not happening. A lot of comedians are afraid to bomb, so they're not working their set. They're doing the jokes that work, so they get that reaction from the audience, and they're not growing as comedians. And so that becomes the hamster wheel that a lot of comedians exist in locally and all of that.
It's like so many things. It's process and it's grind.
Yes.
I mean, you got to have
grind.
I have to thank you, Toure, veteran Philly comedian, comedy teacher.
Yes.
And like there was someone who told one of our producers before the show, godfather of the Philadelphia comedy scene. Thank you, Toure, for your time today on Studio 2.
Yeah, and now it's time to reveal our Studio 2 DJ of the Day song selection. Hit it.
Now if there's a smile on my face, it's only there trying to fool the public. But when it comes down to fooling you, now honey, that's quite a different subject. Don't let
Oh yeah, there it is. Tears of a Clown by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. The music in the song was written by Stevie Wonder, originally released in 1967.
Wow.
It was the re-release in 1970 that became Smokey's only #1 hit.
Yeah, thank you to Susan from Mount Airy and Louis K for choosing that song and being our DJs of the day.
Wait, who did you think it was going to be, Toure?
I thought Smokey wrote that.
You would have thought, yes.
Right.
Stevie's behind everything.
Right, Stevie is definitely behind. Stevie Wonder is rich.
Yes.
Because he wrote the birthday song, if you think about it. He wrote the way we sing Happy Birthday now.
Happy birthday to you. I have to say thank you to our producers, Debbie Builder, Andreas Copes, and Hazel May Bryan. Mike Schiffler is our visual producer. Al Banks and Tina Calicay engineered today's show. Our EP is Kevin McCory. Joan Isabella is WHYY's audio general manager from Studio 2, WHYY in Philadelphia. My name is Avi Wolfman-Arentz.
And I am Cherry Gregg. Thanks so much for joining us.
And tomorrow at noon, it's The Connection with Marty Mosh-Coane. She'll be talking with therapist Nedra Glover-Tawwab about setting boundaries on our relationships and finding the perfect balance, something she calls healthy dependency.
And Studio 2, of course, we will be back on Monday. We'll talk to you then. In the meantime, you can listen to any of our previous shows wherever you get your podcasts, or you can find us on YouTube. Coming up next, we have Here and Now. See you on the radio next week.